Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jimbo back with Paul Frasco with Pro and Local Detailing. And I thought it was actually Paul's idea, not even my idea. One thing that would be cool to incorporate into the podcast, since Paul is an expert at doing like random marketing experiments, I guess, and you have a background in graphic design and marketing too, don't you, Paul?
Yeah, I went to college for it and
Got it.
self-taught a lot of stuff and trial and error over the years.
Got it. So with that, welcome back to the podcast. Um,
Thanks for having me.
but you're welcome. And thanks for taking the time to do this. I think it's gonna be cool. So we're gonna record just a few bite-sized chunks of marketing tips or tricks or things that are working or ideas. And the reason why I think this is such a good idea is one, detailers have this weird problem that they just look at what other detailers do and then copy that, when in reality you have no idea if that actually works or not, or is working for that detailer. And so I think, and the one thing I really enjoy, Paul, with having you on is you have like these fresh innovative ideas that are just very uncommon for the detailing industry. And I think people would get good kind of good ideas from that, whether they use the idea that you give them or it spurs another idea. I think just thinking outside the box is can be really transformational uh, for a business. So, and that's right in line with kind of the first topic that we wanted to talk about today is like, should you do marketing yourself or should you hire it out? So what are your thoughts on that?
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're cutting in and out a little bit, so I don't know if you said something before. I didn't hear you, but I can hear you now.
Yeah, yeah, my signal just cut out a little bit, so I didn't hear your question.
No, I was
I
just
can
gonna
hear you now.
perfect. I was gonna all I said was that is a perfect segue into the topic that we are going to talk about today of should you hire out marketing or should you kind of take that on yourself for your detailing business? So what are your thoughts on that? Hiring it out
Yes.
versus doing it yourself?
So what you said before about detailers, like just look at what their competitors are doing, other detail companies, and they just copy them. I mean, that's the easiest way out. Um, but you're right, it doesn't always work with, um, like it might not work in their market or with, they might have a different target customer that they're going after, you shop might be a coatings and PPF shop and the other shop might do that plus detailing and or you might be appealing to a different client. You might have a different price point. So you can't always copy everything. And you also have to kind of stick with what your company, what your image is and what your story is. You can't just literally copy someone's advertising that's designed for them. It's like their own style. It fits their company image and everything. And you got to kind of, I know it sucks, but you got to do it yourself and think of it yourself. You can take inspiration from other companies and get ideas, but you really got to take the time to think about doing it. And I think it's best for everyone to try to do it themselves at the beginning because you'll learn a lot and then um, you'll know what you're looking for when you hire a marketing guy. But
That's a
I
great
mean,
tip because I knew nothing about building websites. It's just an example. I knew
yeah,
nothing about building websites, and I kind of went to YouTube University way back when. I had a website built for me in like 2012.
yeah,
And then when it came to the podcast, I wanted to do it myself because there were limitations I thought with having a like a website guy, mainly being like if I wanted to change an image or add something, I hated the fact that I had to like contact them and then they took forever. And so I was like,
yeah,
well, that's a bottleneck for me. I want to be able to do it myself. So I kind of taught myself. And then I was doing a website for like a side project that I was working on, and I was getting quotes for people to build it out for me.
yeah,
And I was able to kind of see where the fluff was in the quotes only based upon the experience that I had building my own website. It's like I didn't need to add a ecom store, but they had like an ecom addition onto this like quote, and it was like, I don't know, $1,200. And I'm like, that's just BS because e-com is pretty much built into every website platform nowadays, or like,
Yeah.
I don't want a WordPress site anymore because I remember when my site got hacked. I want something else. It's like all these little things. By doing it yourself, you can learn where there is fluff. And that was a great point. Like, if down the road you need to hire a marketing guy, you need to understand marketing a little bit to understand where you might be getting ripped off or not.
Yeah, and that could save you money too. Like I just hired a marketing guy like late last year, early this year. Like I've only been working with him for a few months. And it sounds weird for me to say that, like, because I've done my own marketing for years and I went to school for it, but I'm getting to the point where I'm very busy with the company, and it is a lot. It is very helpful having someone else just help, but because I have all that experience, whether you learned it yourself or went to school or combination of both, um, you could save yourself some money, because what I did is I'm only having him do a few things that I need help with, um, but I'm doing some of it too. So he's not taking
Mm-hmm.
on everything. Like someone listening to this could be, they've learned enough about Google Ads, and they can update their keywords and manage their AdWords themselves, but maybe they want help with just Facebook. So
Mm-hmm.
it seems like it could be expensive at the beginning, just having someone do it. But I think it's important to learn it yourself and try it and for a little bit and learn what you like. Maybe you can do some of that yourself and only pay for something that you're not strong at. Because like some of the stuff's actually pretty simple, and they're literally just entering in some data that would take you 2 minutes to do, and they're charging you like $300 to do it.
Totally. Totally. And
So
I,
like,
and you need to be able to explain what you're looking for. That's always been the hardest thing for me too, is
yeah,
like,
exactly.
if you don't know what certain capabilities are, you also don't know what to look for. And then you're the expert in your field. So you could take your expertise from detailing and then the maybe a little bit that you know about marketing or branding or whatever, and then apply that and give that to the marketer for help, and then you could also
Yeah.
figure out when he's slacking or she's slacking or not pulling her weight or not worth the spend.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think if you start using some vocab with them, some marketing words with
Exactly.
them, when you're, looking to hire them and having your first couple meetings, that kind of sets the tone right away, and could get you a better working relationship, a better price. Think about it like when you have a customer that calls you for a car detail, and they use a couple words that that you're thrown off by, and then you start to think like, oh, is this another detailer calling me for a quote or something?
Right.
you know but some clients, they're enthusiast or do it yourself guys, um and then it sometimes that conversation goes a little easier. You don't have to do as much educating and
100%.
explaining too with some of that, like with the customers that are know a little bit about paint correction or ceramic coatings. That conversation, once I hear them say a couple words, I know that they have a better idea. They've done some research, and that conversation right away goes so much faster, right down to the point of price quote and booking the appointment. If you learn it for about a year, 6 months, or whatever, mess around with it and do a lot of research, you might have a better experience when you go to hire that marketing guy later.
Totally. Couldn't agree more.
So,
It's yeah, it's actually more enjoyable when you deal with a customer that's a little bit more educated and you're not starting from scratch.
yeah,
You can, like you said, the conversation goes much quicker, but also usually that person understands the value of your service too, and you could actually charge a little bit more, or at least come to an agreement on something a little bit quicker too.
yeah,
So yeah, I think that's
but
great. Yeah, I love that.
yeah. So yeah, the marketing guy has been a huge help for me.
And what do you
Just
have him
saving me some
doing?
time. So he's doing like I found good success with Google AdWords, but
Yep.
I had him do like a specific campaign. Like, so I have my regular one that's for general detailing. I just had him kind of clean it up and add some keywords, take off some, um, like I can figure it out, but I just got so busy with everything else. Running a company is a lot more work than people think. So, it's just very helpful. He just kind of cleaned it up. He made a new campaign from scratch, and I'm like, I'll tell you keywords that I want, but you create it. And actually, the couple ones that he's done I've seen have a bigger like for analytics a bigger
Mm-hmm.
return. Um, just because he does that all day, every day.
Right. Right. And
Like
they're
the same thing. He might know how to wash his car, but I'm sure we could do it better.
right.
We do it every day.
Totally. Totally.
So
How
I
did
have been doing
you
that and
how did you
Facebook
find
stuff.
him?
Um, I've actually known him for a long time. Um, just from I found him at I think a business networking event,
Okay.
like with a local business chamber. That's another good way to find them. Is like just local guys that are in your community. I wouldn't recommend calling a random marketing company you found on Google. I would
Yeah.
try to find a local guy. Like maybe you find them on Google, but I wouldn't hire a huge company that just the only way that they're gonna deal with you is on Zoom or on the phone. Like
Totally.
we actually meet in person a few times a year, and
Okay.
I see him at all the networking events, and he actually gives us referrals in business too. Like not just he doesn't just do Google ads and Facebook. He like we've gotten jobs from him just referring us. So it's kind of like that helps a lot too because your marketing guy could build a relationship with you
Mm-hmm.
um, and refer some of his clients to you or just people he's dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, so I think it's always better to when you're looking, try to find someone local that you can actually sit down with. Um, but yeah, he's been doing just started having to do some stuff on Facebook. Um, we're doing like lead generation on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
If you go in like the ad, I think it's called the ads manager or something.
Mm-hmm.
They keep changing the name. I can't remember what it is, but where you go to create an ad on the Facebook business um, page, there's something called like get leads or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually create like a form where they fill out their name, phone number, email, and I'm having them kind of create some of that stuff. I know how to do it, but what he's doing is he's checking what I made and tweaking it, and then he's
Mm.
going after the audience and setting all the correct data in there for like who's going to see the ad.
And that's also something you could do too, right? Like you can, like you said, with your Google ads or even Facebook, like you can get it personally to a certain level and then have a marketing person come in and kind of clean it up or make sure that what you got going on is legit, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's going back to why I said you should learn a little bit yourself first, even if you don't want to do any of it. Like just learn some of it. And I'm only paying a few $100 a month for my marketing guy versus
Mm-hmm.
some places charge you multiple thousands,
Totally.
depending on what you're looking for.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Totally. Awesome. Well, I think that's a good one to wrap up here. So yeah, if you're
All right, cool.
in summary, start it out yourself. If you get stuck or you get busy like Paul, then hire it out. But at least you'll know what you're looking for. Paul, how can people find you if they're wanting to follow you or see what kind of marketing you're doing so they could copy what you're doing? Because it's probably
Um,
working.
yeah, the the best way is on Instagram, probably just pro and local. You can send me a message on there. Check out our stuff on there.
Sweet. All right. We'll talk to you on the next one.
All right. Thanks.